You had a guest on, I think, last week about remote viewing, which is a lot of what my dreams are like, that the ones that come true. Like, I can tell the difference between your average normal dream and the remote viewing dream, because it's almost like you're either hovering above whatever's going on, or you feel like you're a little camera up in the corner of a room and watching what's going on. It's really crazy.
Well, I got to jump back here. Do you remember your first paranormal experience and what it was?
Yes. I was about 7, and my grandfather had passed away. And I remember one night I just sat up in bed, and I was just staring out the window. And it was like I was getting a message from him for my grandmother. And he told me to call her and let her know that he's okay, he's safe. He loves her, he misses her. So the next day when I woke up, I told my mom, I said, I have to call Grandma today. And she was like, why? Because I'd never requested to call Grandma before. And she asked me why, and I told her, and she said, okay, well, we'll call Grandma. And I called Grandma and told her, and passed it on.
Oh, wow. So you found out that when you called, that's when you found out that he passed on.
I knew he had passed on before that, but the dream was after he had died.
Interesting.
And we went through the funeral and all that. And she was having a really hard time dealing with it. And
well, it's really hard. It's really,
I kind of sensed that.
It's really hard when anybody passes on. You know, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I had a friend one time that when his parents got killed, it was like 2 days later. It was like over with. I don't know. I'm still in remorse of my dog. It died 8 months ago. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes me a long time to get over anything.
It does me too, and I've lost a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of family. My dog died like 10 years ago, and I'm still not over him.
Interesting. What other type of paranormal experiences have you had? I mean, have you ever gone ghost hunting or anything like that?
Yeah, in fact, we just did a personal case for a man I met at the laundromat.
Okay. He didn't have you. Wait a minute, Karen. Now, he didn't have you do his laundry while at the laundromat, and you were talking to him, did he?
No.
Okay. I just want to make
was
sure.
wearing my ghost hunting hat that a friend bought me, and this hat has started so many conversations. It's ridiculous. But he started asking me about it and asked if we actually do ghost hunting, and when I told him we did, he asked us to come to his house because he thought his son had passed away back in February, and he thought his son was in the house, and which it turns out after the investigation, his son was there, and trying to get his father's attention to let him know he was there, and that he loved him, and it turned out really well. And the father, who was in deep depression, he had also lost his father like 3 weeks before his son died, also in the house. They both passed away in the house.
Wow.
And he was in very deep, deep depression. And after the experience that we provided him, we went back the next 2 days after to give him the report on the review of the evidence, and he was a completely changed person. He was out in the yard doing yard work. He was dressed nice. His hair was done, and he was smiling and happy.
Well, it sounds like he had closure, and that's what he needed.
Yeah. Yeah. And he doesn't mind that his son is there. He was happy with the information. We sat and talked about the evidence we got, and he was so happy with it all.
Well,
he felt so much better.
What type of evidence did you get that showed that he was still there?
His son talking to him, talking to us, talking to him, and verifying certain things that had happened in the house, like coins moving and stuff like that. And we have what's called an SB7. It's a spirit box radio, and it scans AM, FM frequencies at different speeds you can set it at, and I like to use the second fastest, because the faster they are, if you get sentences, it's more likely it's a spirit, because the station scans so fast you can't possibly get a sentence.
Wow.
And to get a sentence would have to come over like 6 or 7 stations at least.
Now, how expensive are those spirit boxes, out of curiosity, if somebody wanted to buy a spirit box?
Roughly $60 to $80 online. You can buy them at ghost hunting supply stores. You can buy them on eBay, Amazon. I suggest getting a better speaker than that little white ball thing that comes with them, because that little thing is crap.
Okay.
If you want to hear the voices better, I would suggest getting a mini amplifier where you can control the noise volume, differentiate between the voices and the white noise. And I used a large Bluetooth speaker that I bought, and we can hear the voices so much better through that than you can a little tiny speaker that you just plug in. But a lot of the times we don't hear a lot of what comes through until we do the review, and I listen to it through the computer. I'll put the camera card in because I record everything.
Uh-huh.
And I'll put the camera card in the computer, and I'll review every video with headphones on, really good Sony headphones that I can hear things that we didn't hear at the time.
Well, I've had guests on the show, that have, digital recorders, and they'll be out at different places, like in cemeteries or old, jails and prisons and stuff like that. And they don't hear anything, but when they go back afterwards and they, run the audio back, all of a sudden it's weird voices, it's saying things, But I got to ask the question. I don't understand, when you're out in the cemetery, for example, or you're in a prison, why don't you guys, when you're investigating ghosts, ask a very simple question? And you know what that question is, Karen? Do you want a cigarette? All you have to... Okay, well, a lot of them don't. And, I had a ghost hunter, from a major ghost hunting group on my show, and I said, do you guys ever say, hey, when you're not getting any response, I say, do you ever ask if they want a cigarette? Because most people in prisons or places like that, they smoked.
Well, it's after watching so many different paranormal investigators do investigations, and they all pretty much ask the same questions, which I do sometimes, but I also ask my own questions, like, do you want a cigarette? What was your favorite food? What do you miss the most about being alive? Stuff like that. When we were at Fort Niagara doing an EVP session with the SB7 box, we were out behind the officers club at a picnic table, and it was myself and my daughter and a friend of mine, and we asked if anybody wanted a cigarette, because we smoke. And we had a spirit come through, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but we ended up leaving a cigarette on the table, and he said, thank you.
Ah, interesting. What do I'm going to be honest with you. I don't normally have ghost hunting groups on my show anymore because I got burnt a couple times. I had this one group it was on, and, after I started talking to them, it seemed like they weren't so much interested in going out ghost hunting. They were more interested on trying to get a cable channel to pick them up. And then I was asking...
Everybody wants to be famous.
Yeah, but I asked them, well, how many ghost hunts have you been on? And they was on one. And I said, and the conversation didn't last too long after that before I disconnected them, because could you imagine that some group of ghost hunters wanting to go out and have a cable show, but they haven't gone out really and done any ghost hunting? A lot of these groups, I hate to say it, I'm going to get flack. I've ran across a lot of these groups that go out, ghost hunting. It's not so much wanting to go out ghost hunting; it's a social group where they can sit and talk and drink coffee and have a beer.
exactly. I like to keep my group small. Usually it's myself and my daughter. We might have one or two friends with us, but most of these groups, they go out there and they're talk, 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 and it's like you're missing everything. You're supposed to not just sit there and talk and talk and talk, but you're supposed to listen. You're supposed to have the full experience. And I'll see groups of like 8 people, and you've got 3 people doing the investigation, and the rest are in the background talking, and you can't hear what they're getting over the equipment. And a lot of these trips, like you can go to certain haunted places, and you pay so much money, but you get there and there's 15, 20 people there or more, and it's like, no, this is not the experience I want. And I'm not going to pay for something like that.
Well, unfortunately,
if I pay to go ghost hunting, I want to go ghost hunting. I don't want to be a social butterfly.
Well, see, that's the whole problem. Ever since, the ghost hunters and all these things appeared on, TV, and now, people, have these so-called haunted houses, hotels, mortuaries, whatever. They figured, hey, I can make money off of this.
Yep.
And then you
they'll buy old houses, and then they start working on the place, and they run out of money, or what have you, and they think, oh, we bought this place, let's go buy this place, and we'll put it up as being haunted, and we'll start tours and make tons of money.
And unfortunately, a lot of the ghost hunting groups, especially when they're first starting out, they realize they do have to go pay. And I don't know. It seems like, the whole thing is money oriented.
It can get very, very expensive. Like our house is haunted, but I'm not going to advertise it. I don't want people showing up in my yard at night with equipment, unexpectedly, or getting weird calls, or people knocking on my door. Can we come in and do this? And, I don't want that. And that's another thing about like those haunted shows where they come to your house to verify that it's haunted. It's like, all I can imagine, I love the shows. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the shows. But can you imagine having to live there afterwards and having these mentally ill people showing up out of the blue?
Or you're parking in front of your house at night. You never know if you got this killer, in front of your house. But no, they see it. That's the whole problem. I have to be honest with you. Back about a year ago, I had one of the stars off of one of these ghost hunting shows from the Travel Channel. He was going to come on my show, but at the last minute, he decided, no, he better not, because he might get sued from the network. And he actually quit the network, and he was one of the main stars of the show, and I'm not going to say which one it is. But they would go out, and if they didn't find anything, nothing happened. They went there, and it was quiet, and they were there for 3 or 5 hours, and no knocks on the wall, no sounds. They go back, right?
That happened.
Yeah, but what would happen is the network would say, go back again and fake it.
There's a thing about the shows that a lot of people don't realize or don't know, is that to investigate like one location, like they go to a haunted bar, it'll take them a week to get enough evidence, at least a week, to make one show. And they have to they'll buy like 5 or 6 of the same outfit and wear the same outfit every shooting, so that when they air the show, it looks like it all happened in one night.
Oh, yeah. But could you imagine, though, the network telling you to go back and fake it? That's why
it's all about rating.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they can't, sell a show. No one's going to watch it if nothing happens. So, I mean, that scares me, because you sit here and watch these ghost hunting shows, and you don't know what is legit, what's fake or not. I guess you have to look at it this way, just like my radio show. You know what it is? It's nothing more than entertainment.
Yep, exactly. TV and movies, it's entertainment.
Yeah, so you take it.
Most of these shows are just entertainment. Some are entertainment mixed with fact. I mean, some of them do get actual evidence, but they also have to fill in the gaps. So they'll do some entertainment in